Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be reviewing this modified Ford Bronco, or what I'd like to call the Donko, because it's pretty much been donked. We'll talk about it. Anyways, before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Young Ford here in Ogden, Utah, for giving me some time with this Bronco. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. So powering this is a turbo 2.7 liter V6. It goes through a 10 speed. It puts out about 330 horsepower and then 415 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now first off, this is built off of a Wild Track Bronco, which is kind of like the high speed, not quite Raptor level, but higher speed Ford Bronco package. And yes, it has in fact been donked, is what I like to call it. That's when you put huge wheels on a vehicle. But anyways, 38 by 13.5 by 24 with this setup. And I will say these wheels are actually really cool looking. Now, to fit this craziness, we obviously have upgraded some stuff. Looks like we got an upper control arm that's been upgraded, a lift kit as well. And if we actually kind of peek down here, you can see that whole setup. It's got new shocks on top of that. But take a few steps back. So there's your side profile. I actually don't think I've ever heard of this company before. Ready Lift Suspension. It'll be interesting to see how this whole setup handles. I'm always interested to see how new companies approach lifts and everything. But regardless, you guys can see the full-size spare there on the back. Got this for reinforcement so it can actually be held on the tailgate. Let me know what you guys think about the looks. Again, this is definitely going to be a form build rather than a function build, but that's what some people want on vehicles like the Bronco. Now let's take a quick peek at the interior here. We've got some soft touch where you can rest your arm. This is pretty cool. That trim right there. Blind spot running with the mirrors. And I like the seats in the new Bronco. They're actually very comfortable. They're really cool too. We do have power side steps, which definitely a must with this build. Helps out with getting in. Got the grab handle there to help out too. And then with the new Bronco, you've got the mostly digital gauge cluster. And then being a Wild Track, you've got front rear diff locks, trail turn assist as well. You also have an advanced four-wheel drive system with this. Now I will show the one downside about donking a vehicle. There we go. So we got full lock right there. Obviously it's not gonna be full. It's gonna be loosened a little bit because we don't have our hand on the steering wheel. This is why I call this a form build. You guys can see that there actually is a tiny amount of clearance here with this. So there is space for it to move just a tiny amount. But if you had any sort of compression off-road, that would obviously make it so it'd bump against things a little bit. And then the lighting's making this a little bit difficult, but hopefully you guys can kind of see through the bumper there, kind of. That again, it is clearing it on the side, but it's really tight with the setup. I mean, you guys can see the tire is almost against the bumper right there. So there is no rubbing technically, but again, if you were to take this off-road, you were to have some sort of articulation, right, that's going to compress things a little bit, then you probably would. So that's why this is, you know, a cool looking build. It's a street build. Well, let us set off in the Donko. I feel like that's a good, I mean, let me know if that's not a good name, but I feel like it's a pretty good name. By the way, visibility in the new Bronco is great. You do have blind spot monitoring as well. But yeah, I used to be more critical about these form builds back in the day, but you know, as I've run this channel for longer and as I've met more people, I've realized that some people just will never off-road. Like, they do not care about off-roading whatsoever, but they love the looks. And, you know, they want something that looks not off-roady. They want big fancy wheels, but they still want the all-terrain tires. So, you know, there's a build for everyone, I think. But what I will say is it actually doesn't drive too bad right off the bat. Like, it does feel a little bit firmer than stock, but you know, it's a price you pay with lifting, but not too bad. And I'll tell you, this is probably one of the closest I've ever seen to, like, it doesn't rub, but like it's so close. So you can tell they definitely maxed out you know, what they could do in terms of tires and everything with this, which I don't have a problem with that. I think it's funny though. Yeah, it seems like on the low end there's no struggle whatsoever with this rig for torque. And this must have been like a swamp or something before they put houses here, because I have never seen, I've done a few car reviews now today here. I have never seen roads so beat up and so all over, like there's something's happening underneath the ground that's making this stuff move all over the place. It'll be the place where, like, you know, the Leaning Tower of Pisa will have the Leaning Houses of Ogden. Maybe that's already a thing that people say. Just interesting for me to see. I haven't been up here in a while. Yeah, the power's pretty impressive. It's pretty darn impressive. This is the weirdest turn on the, what in the world? I hope I did that properly. I don't know if I did. Sorry if I did. That was a weird turn. What in the heck? It is bumpy. Like this is a, you know, a road with some joints. Bumpy. It's not the worst though. Yeah, there's actually, I can tell there's a river down there. There's got to be like swamps or something here. This has got to be like swampland that they've turned into this. Welcome to the US. We have plenty of space, but we'll choose to build only in silly places. Yeah, this ain't bad. This is the concession you make to look like the cool guy. I am wondering though, I have noticed that there's a lot more people that care, you know, like myself, that care more about function over form. I'm wondering if stuff like this is going to eventually kind of die out, because people are all going to want stuff that is it functional? Like, you know, functional build on this would be the stock build, right? The 35s with the 17-inch wheels, with the Fox shocks. So it's just kind of interesting to see. But overall, I mean, for a lifted Bronco on 24s, it drives a lot better than I thought it would. Coming into this, excuse me, I thought this was going to drive like absolute crap. Seriously, yeah, I'm not, you know, trying to crap on a build, but like, I don't know, I've driven a lot of lifted vehicles, and usually when you have a vehicle lifted and then have huge wheels, it's just very harsh, but this is actually pretty nice. It drives a whole lot better than I expected it to. Let the Super Duty go by. The parking space is right there, so I'm trying to let this person by. Okay, I guess they're gonna let me park, so we'll just park. Oh, that sounded like rubbing. It could have been the steering too, but it kind of sounded like rubbing a little bit. That's weird because I had it locked to lock for the I showed you guys lock to lock, and that wasn't weird. I wonder if it's the traction. Actually, that sounded like, I wonder if that was a traction control system. Not that I was slipping on anything, but I'm wondering if like the much larger tires, I don't know. Because that was weird, because again, it doesn't... Yeah, weird. It's not doing it. Huh. I don't know. Anyways, let me guys think about the donk life. Would you go for a Bronco with huge wheels, or would you rather go for the stock setup where you've got the smaller wheels, and you know, 35s are smaller than 38s, but you still got pretty beefy tires? Let me know your thoughts.